Hi there, how are you all doing? I am excited today to be speaking with Vaughn Bratcher from the Bratcher Project. He is a bass player out of the Baltimore metropolitan area. And we're going to be talking about music and the power of music to heal and to create calm in the midst of chaos. Let's see what he has to say. Wonderful. So I want to talk a little bit about the gift of music in chaotic times. And if we're not living in chaotic times, I don't even know what they look like. But my first question to you as a musician is, when did you fall in love with music?
At an early age. I think I really started at around 3 or 4. My dad got me playing ukulele, and I guess the rest is history. He did some talent shows, went on in high school, played trumpet and drums, and just gravitated to the bass. So it's been in my life ever since about 3 or 4 years old that I enjoyed
Wow.
music.
And has jazz always been your genre of choice?
It came later. Originally, I think R&B, blues, a little bit of rock. I was listening to everything when I was younger,
Mhm.
um, but jazz sort of came into my life. A little, I think, used to be an organ player. Richard Groove Holmes was an
Mhm.
organ player, and he did a jazz version of Misty. And I think I can remember the first time that really jazz caught my ear. And when I heard Coltrane's "Love Supreme,"
Oh,
that
I
kind of did it
love
for
me some John Coltrane. Love me some
me. That
John
blew me
Coltrane.
away. Yeah.
What was the song again?
So
I'm
I just
sorry.
followed the music. Yeah, I followed the musicians that was on his album, and it kind of led me to Miles and other musicians that was on his album at the time, McCoy Tyner. And so I started following all of those great musicians.
Wonderful. Now you are the founder of the Bratcher Project. Can you tell us a little bit about your band, your group?
The Bratcher Project is basically an assembly of independent musicians from the Delaware, Maryland, Virginia area that I usually use. Um, I rotate them according to who's available, but all of them are great musicians, so any one of them could respond to the call at any time. So I use them in whatever the occasion that they're available, and we basically cover smooth jazz, neo, soul, instrumental R&B covers. But with the different players, I get a different take on those songs anytime we play. So that's the
Wow.
beauty of it.
Wonderful. Who, may I ask, is your favorite jazz artist?
Oh man, I think George Duke is my favorite. I think he encompassed so much of all the different instrumentalists. His
Mm.
playing covered the whole gamut from harmony to melody to lead lines, sax lines, trumpet lines, and his writing style was always creative. I
Okay.
always appreciated him about that. Yeah.
Well, we're in this pandemic and, we're trying to find everything that we can to keep us anchored and centered. Who are you listening to right now?
Oh man. I'm listening to some Miles. I'm listening to Chicoria, um, Yellow Jackets. I might listen to Everett Harp or Kurt Whalum. I like a lot of this stuff.
Mm.
Um, some of the vocalists. I listen. Oh, I love me some Layla Hathaway.
Oh
I
my
think
goodness.
she is.
Oh my goodness. She and her dad, right? Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, yeah, I love her. I think right now she's at the top of her form right now. So I listen to a lot of her stuff. She's basically a trained musician, and the musicians that she used, top of the line. The Her music is very interesting to listen to.
Amen. So, again, trying to do everything that we can to stay centered and anchored. Music is a wonderful way of doing that. I say music is so magical because you can be anywhere in the world, from China to Africa to Baltimore to California, and we can hear Stevie Wonder and we can hear Marvin Gaye, we can hear Layla Hathaway. and it just does something to you. It does not matter your ethnicity, and it also doesn't even matter your age, because I'm 52, my son is 32, and we vibe to the same grooves. He loves Marvin Gaye
That
as much as I do, right? And so I wanted to know from
right.
you, what makes music so magical? Why do you think it has the power it has to connect us in the way that it does?
I believe that it's so much more than just a personal connection. I think just the whole universe is working in some kind of order. There's some type of waves. Music comes out in waves, and I think somehow it permeates the spirit and soul. Those
Mhm.
waves connect with the universal order of life, and I
Wow.
think some kind of way it just touches on the basis of what the whole universe does for us as human beings.
Yeah.
It's a balance, and it seems to affect everyone from the old to the young. I mean, I've seen little babies rocking out to music that can't hardly walk. I've seen people in rehabilitation center that could barely come into the spot and you could see the faces, the reactions. So there is some type of harmony. There's
Yeah.
some type of universal vibe that just connects with everybody through music.
Absolutely. Now, there's a lot of virtual concerts going on. DJs are doing their thing. Have you been in one of the concerts? Have you participated in one of them yet? And what do you think about that?
Not as I think it's a great idea. I think we're so fortunate to have the different media to be able to do what we do, to stay connected with the audience, with the people. I haven't done any yet. Mostly have been recording at home, writing, practicing, just trying to stay on top of my skill set as best I can. But I think it's an excellent idea to keep people connected so that when we finally start coming out, we will, be more inclined to be receptive. I think the nice thing about, unfortunately, it's a good thing. I think we'll appreciate live music more when we finally come back out again, because
Mhm.
after a while, I think people kind of get a little jaded when it's so readily available that you can go anywhere and hear good music. But when
Excellent
you
point.
really realize that it's not happening, I think the fact that when it starts back up again, I think people will really embrace it.
I think you're absolutely right, because I'm gonna tell you right now, I certainly miss being able to go to concerts and miss being able to go to plays and really miss the opportunity, like you said, to have that live and in-person experience. And in that
Exactly.
same space, I think that there's a lot that we've been taken for granted that on the other side of this
Exactly.
pandemic, we will not. I mean, even down to just being able to hug our loved ones and see them whenever we want to. Those are some of the
Yeah.
other things that we take for granted as well. I wanted
Yeah.
to know, what advice would you give to somebody who's really struggling right now, who's having a hard time getting through? I know we're closer to the end than we were before, but what would you advise someone to do, or to begin to do, just to be able to center themselves and be okay as we continue to make our way through this difficult time?
I would tell them to persevere, hang in there, believe in God, believe in the natural order of things. It's like it's happened through history. You've been through pandemics and viruses and wars and dictatorships, and there's so many things that, but for whatever reason, we have managed to come through these types of situations, come through the other side. So I would just say, just be patient, persevere, um, stay safe, be aware of the reality of the situation, but know that there's going to be an end to this situation, and we'll be able to get back out and socialize again.
Yeah, we just had over the weekend three big musicians pass away. Andre Harrell, we had Little Richard pass
Uh
away as
huh.
well, and the other person's name is escaping me right now. Were
Betty
you
Wright.
Betty Wright? That's right. Of the
Yeah.
three of them, who did you listen to the most?
Um, well, I would have to say, just growing up, I would say Little Richard. I remember his music early on in life, Tutti Frutti and all of those. But
Yeah,
it was just so exciting and so energetic. It
yeah.
just caught your ear.
Yeah.
I did have the fortune back in the early '70s to play bass for Betty Wright when
Oh,
she was when I guess the hit "Clean Up Woman" was big on the charts at the time,
mm-hmm.
and so I had the opportunity to play with her on a small tour, and she was young at the time, 15 or 16. She had to have a chaperone with her to do to go out to clubs, but that was just a memorable experience for me.
Wow. And my next to the last question is, how has music evolved, in your opinion, from the time you started to where we are now?
Well, I mean, the technology has played a big part in it. Um, I think the main thing now that it's so accessible to so many people, especially so many younger people. I'm noticing that the younger people, through technology, are really grasping the elements of music at such an early age, as opposed to when I was coming up, when all you had was basically the radio or your stereo. But with the kids now having
I
so
think
many, so
I'm
much
losing your face
access to.
on your screen. I'm losing your face on your
Oh,
screen.
okay.
There we go.
That better?
Yes, thank
Yeah.
you.
I think the technology, no problem. I think the technology just has helped the music evolve as far as the younger people being able to capture it at such an early age and doing more with it. Um, I'm looking at the different fusion styles that are starting to permeate, and you're getting so many different genres that are really interesting, that are mixing neo soul and jazz and R&B and gospel. I mean, some of the gospel songs right now are just really dynamite. If you really listen
Mm.
to it, just the different elements that they're incorporating into the music. So everything is really blending. The music is really blending, and it's morphing. And I'm just really looking forward to see how what it turns out to be in the years to come.
Wonderful. I am a person who believes that gratitude shifts everything. And as we end our conversation, I'd like to know, what are you most grateful for?
Oh man, grateful. I'm grateful for my physical and mental health. I'm just grateful for my family's safety. I'm grateful that I was blessed with the gift to be able to play music and give music to people. That is a very heavy responsibility that I take seriously. If I felt like I can make people's days, people's hours, make them feel a little bit better by this gift, I feel like that's God's blessing to me. Um, Grateful just to be able to look outside and just be able to see the
Amen.
wonders of God. Yeah. So I don't take anything, lightly anymore. As a younger person, you take things for granted. But as you get, a little older, you start really focusing more on the things that matter,
That's right.
the things that really matter, and
That's
the other
right.
stuff kind of just goes to the wayside.
Yeah, and I believe that if this pandemic has done nothing else, it's definitely helped us to learn more clearly, or to get more clearly, that we can't take anything for granted. I mean, we've lost 80,000 people in a matter of 60 days. 80,000
Yeah.
people who thought that they would be here with us at this time when the year began. Who knew,
Exactly.
right? So, when you
Exactly.
talk about not taking anything for granted, I mean, that's just the understatement of the year. And I also want you to know that I don't take you for granted. I don't take the time that you took away from yourself and your family to talk to me for granted. Thank you so much. I want you to know I'm going to make good on my promise to get you out here to California as soon as things come in such a way that we can do that. I want everybody that I know out here to hear and experience you for the gem that you are.
Oh, I appreciate it, and we'll make it happen. I look forward to it. And I thank you so much for reaching out to me and having this
Absolutely.
experience with you.
Sure.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Take good care, and we'll talk soon.
Okay, thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I don't know about you, but I'm so thankful for music. I'm thankful for Vaughn Bratcher taking the time to talk to us. And I hope that you are using music in the best way to help soothe you and get you through these challenging times, because it definitely can do that. It can get us through. Talk to you next week. Bye bye.